you very much, Ibu Anita, for the introduction. Honorable Mr. Izuru Kobayashi, the CEO, DG of Administration of ERIA, Honorable Mr. Kazuba Kusaka, Chairman and CEO of Japan Economic Foundation, Honorable Dr. Jose Rizal, the Head of Department of Economics of JSIS, Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Very good afternoon to all of you. Let me first begin by expressing my warmest appreciation to the Japan Economic Foundation, the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia ERIA, and the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, Jakarta, for hosting this timely forum. I extend a warm welcome to all of today's highly knowledgeable speakers, panelists, and moderators, comprising of eminent scholars, officials, and business participants who are here to share their views and insights on the future of East Asian integration and ASEAN community beyond 2015. I am certainly delighted and honored to be here, especially given the importance of regional integration going forward beyond 2015, both for ASEAN and East Asia, and also for Indonesia. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, the ASEAN economic community is a reality now. Just last weekend, I went to Kuala Lumpur to witness the signing ceremony of the 2015 Kuala Lumpur Declaration on the establishment of the ASEAN community and the Kuala Lumpur Declaration on ASEAN 2025, forging ahead together. At the same time, the East Asia Summit also completed 10 years of existence at the Kuala Lumpur Summit concluded last week. A decade of regionalism and economic integration is a good time to evaluate the outcome and also the challenges ahead for this region comprising of the ASEAN community and its dialogue partner in East Asia. ASEAN has been central to all economic regionalism and integration efforts in East Asia. Through the Kuala Lumpur Declaration on November 2015, ASEAN will become an ASEAN community in 1st of January 2016. The year 2015 is a noteworthy year in the roadmap of economic integration in East Asia, as Asia looks forward to become the driver of the world's economy. The East Asian regionalism and economic integration has formally completed 10 years in the East Asia Summit, and the ASEAN Economic Community comes into effect on 31st December 2015. With the ASEAN Vision 2025, there are both challenges and opportunities ahead for the economic integration in the region. This is an opportune time to evaluate the ASEAN achievements and its contribution to the East Asian integration, and more specifically, the economic integration. This is also an opportune time to look at the opportunities and challenges ahead of the region, and also the overarching concerns of security, environment and human development, as well as the quality of development in the region. The AEC, the ASEAN Economic Community, is not an overnight process. It has taken almost 5 decades, 48 years, to create the single community in Southeast Asia, starting in 1967. When the 5 founding countries gathered around to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and protection of regional peace and stability in the region. Since then, ASEAN region has been engaged in free flow of goods, services, skilled labor, capital, and investment until today. 99.2% all of the commodities being traded within ASEAN is already zero tariff line. ASEAN now is one of the world's most dynamic and fast-growing region. ASEAN combined GDP has grown to 2.6 trillion US dollars last year, a near 80% increase in 7 years. Furthermore, as quoted from Prime Minister Malaysia speech in the ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur, ASEAN has been able to recover from the financial turmoil faster than other countries and regions. This is a result from continuous inflows of investment and resilient economic growth. Since the adoption of the IEC blueprint 7 years ago, the FDI flows have increased significantly from 85 billion US dollar in 2007 to reach 136 billion US dollar last year. ASEAN now is not only a single region, but it is also engaged with the other countries to launch FTA as reflected by the establishment of the ASEAN Plus One FTA with Korea, with Japan, with China, with India, with Australia and New Zealand FTA. As well as the negotiation under the so-called Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is now under discussion, and the leaders agreed to be concluded by the end of next year. These show tremendous potential economic gains that will improve not only ASEAN but also partner countries. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to share with you that as of the end of October this year, using the focus base of 506 measures, the rate of implementation of the IEC scorecard stood at 32.7% for the ASEAN-wide achievement. Indonesia implementation rate of the IEC blueprint has reached 94.1%. What does it mean? This implying that most of the policy measures that has been taken by all of the ASEAN member countries, it's almost fully implemented. The rest that we are going to carry sometimes next year is the conclusion of the AFAS number 10. So that's part of the services integration in the region. We have, in general, we have completed 476 measures out of the 506 measures set out in the IEC blueprint. And Indonesia remains committed to fulfill the remaining measures by intensifying our domestic consultations. Because for Indonesian economy, it's not easy to cope with providing 70% foreign equity participation in 128 subsectors in the economy. We need to deal with some of the laws, we need to revise our regulations, and so on and so on. And it's given time for the ASEAN member countries to conclude the AFAS number 10 for the next 2 years. Despite our commitment to fully implement the IEC blueprint, we also have to ensure that our private sector, SMEs, professionals, and other stakeholders are fully aware and prepared to capitalize on the regional agreement. Therefore, we should not be complacent, and we must continue our communication with our stakeholders on the opportunities that they can gain from the integration of our markets. The AEC is only the beginning and remains a work in progress. So once the government officials from the 10 countries sit together and conclude announcing for the integration of the ASEAN economic community, it doesn't mean that all of the private sector automatically follow and implement all of the commitment, all of the agreement that being taken by the governments. So we need to inform, we have to communicate with them, and to be part of the actors in the implementation of the regional integration. For example, when we have this article, ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, when 99.2% of our traded goods is being put in 0%, that the importer, the exporters can use this facility. But it turned out only half of the business people utilize this facility. So the challenge is how to bring the implementation of all of the agreement to the private sectors. That's one of the big challenges for Indonesia. The other agenda that concluded in the ASEAN Leaders Meeting 2015 in Kuala Lumpur was to develop a post-2015 vision to realize a politically cohesive, economically integrated, socially responsible, and a truly people-oriented, people-centered, and rule-based ASEAN. An ASEAN Economic Community for 2016-2025 that includes an integrated and highly cohesive economy, a competitive, innovative, and dynamic ASEAN, a resilient, inclusive, and people-oriented, people-centered ASEAN, enhanced sectoral integration and cooperation, and a global ASEAN. That's going to be the element for the second chapter of the ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint beyond 2015. In realizing this vision, ASEAN will promote the principle of good governance, transparency, and responsive regulations and regulatory regimes through active engagement with the private sector, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders of ASEAN. An inclusive approach will be taken, placing the interests of the people at the heart of regional integration initiative. So, the integration of the Indonesia in ASEAN, as well as into much wider integration under the RCEP, ASEAN plus 6 partner countries, bring the pressure to Indonesian economy toward more competitive, to be more efficient economy, and so on and so on. For this, Indonesia is now aggressively constructing, improving our infrastructures, connecting all of the regions of the country, as well as lowering the business costs, the transaction costs, the logistic costs, streamlining the regulation, cut down the procedures, and so on and so on. So this will be culminated to the more efficient and competitive Indonesian economy as part of our preparation toward the integration of Indonesian economy in the region. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, around the East Asian region, new regional and global engagement are taking place, which encourage us to bring greater focus on building a more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient world around us. First, the conclusion of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, as mentioned by previous speakers, in early October this year. The so-called far-reaching high-quality economic agreement addresses issues beyond trade was finally agreed after 7 years of intensive negotiations among the 12 founding member countries. This economic bloc covers a population of 805 million and accounts for 25.5% of global trade. This agreement has yet to be ratified by the respective national legislature, but already it has gathered sufficient interest and momentum from economies including South Korea, Indonesia, and Philippines, who have expressed interest to join these Pacific Rim trade blocs, given its huge trade and other economic potential. Later I will touch on how do we cope with this TPP. Second, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, with half of the world population and almost 30% of the world output and trade. The RCEP offers immense potential to improve the standard of living for billions of people. ASEAN and 6 dialogue partner countries, including Australia, China, India, Japan, Republic of Korea, and New Zealand, sought to broaden cooperation beyond political and security concerns to forge closer economic partnerships through trade in goods and services, investment, and other areas. Third, the free trade area of Asia and Pacific, if the EEP, that I believe will become the next level of cooperation. The FTEP emerged from APEC leaders meeting in 2005 to include the promotion of high-quality regional trading arrangement and free trade arrangement and trade liberalization in the APEC region. This was formalized in November 2014 when APEC leaders endorsed the Beijing roadmap for APEC's contribution to the realization of the FTAP and to translate the vision of FTAP into reality. And finally, several regional and global initiatives, namely the Global Infrastructure Hub. The G20 leaders agreed to establish the Global Infrastructure Hub located in Australia. The ASEAN Infrastructure Investment Bank, which is initiated by China, and the Maritime Silk Road Initiative, which will significantly influence the economic developments in the East Asia region. Other major global initiatives that the region would face include the United Nations post-2015 Development Agenda, which have given the Sustainable Development Goals, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030, also the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Conventions on Climate Change, which will take place on December 2015 in Paris. And also Boracay Action Agenda to globalize micro, small, and medium enterprises under the APEC initiative. All of these initiatives will support the inclusive growth, sustainable development, and reduce inequality among countries in the region, as well as becoming common trend in the all over the world. As you fully aware, the main theme of the 3 major events, G20 Forum, APEC Forum, as well as the ASEAN, put emphasis on the inclusiveness as one of the priority at this different forum. This is really show us the importance of bringing the benefit of the development should be set by all of this part of the society. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. The past few weeks have brought our attention to crises elsewhere in the world which have a significant bearing for this region as well. Unrest and instability in other parts of the global civil society will affect the well-being of people in this region too. As Asia-Pacific region plays an increasingly greater role as the growth center of the world and continues to attract attention from all over the world, our response to global challenge should be both timely and meaningful. This must also be factored into our development and integration strategy. In an interconnected world, no region is an island. Therefore, factoring in global challenges into regional strategy is becoming important. The coming in of TPP, CDP, and FTAP bring into focus the need for rule-based cooperation process. Thus, there should also be institutions put in place to make such regional efforts available to all in equal measures. As a region, we are proud of making our growth inclusive and sustainable. The integration of new member states, for example, into ASEAN, is really a testimony to this effort. I would wish this forum to address the issues of inclusive and sustainable growth in greater detail. We at the policy-making level will be pleased to receive any inputs from the sharp and critical minds of assembled here today. And I see the agenda, a lot of prominent speakers is on the list. So I really look forward to your suggestion, to your thought, to your views, to your also recommendations. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. On the final note, once again, I'd like to congratulate the Japan Economic Forum, the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, and Center for Strategic and International Studies for jointly organizing the Asia Pacific Forum 2015. I am very pleased to see that the best minds in the region will deliberate today on the vital issues before the region. I expect that the recommendation of the forum will bear positive influence on the policy environment of the region. I wish the forum all success and look forward to the recommendation of the forum. Thank you very much.